Hello, Sundowners, and welcome to the first episode of the Sundowners Handbook. So, I've been wanting to start a podcast or just start something to just be more interactive with you guys, and I think that, like, something that is so universal in today's society is like sitting down and having a drink and just interacting with people. I got this cool little mocktail glass. If you guys are listening to the audio version, I have a nice little glass with a wooden band around it. And this is I don't drink anymore. I'm sober, but um, I think as the first episode, it's only fitting that I share a little bit with you guys. But first, we'll go ahead and I got this non-alcoholic bourbon, and I throw it in some things sometimes to like spice up my little mocktails. But it honestly tastes like shit. But I think that for today, since I'm sharing a little bit with you guys, ladies' hair is always everywhere, and you know what? I just have like no shame in it anymore because there's no stopping it. I live on a bow, and when she sheds, just put a little bit like that, just like about a half glass. When she sheds, it is literally in every crack and crevice on the bow. So there is no getting rid of it. So those of you that are new to my page, um, if this is your first time on any of my platforms, I'll start with I'm transgender. My name is Sunny. I'm 25 years old and I live on a sailboat. I have this kava liquid drops that I put in my mocktails, and it just is a little mood booster. A lot of people are doing the mocktails instead of real alcohol drinks, which I think is pretty cool. I think that like normalizing alcoholism is so sad sometimes. Like I did it for so many years and I am a huge alcoholic. That's why I don't drink anymore. It's not because I'm holier than thou. I literally cannot drink alcohol anymore. So I have these they're keto. I'm also like I try and go sugar free sometimes. But I got these sour bears kiss me keto. They're pretty hard. They're not very they resemble gummy bears, but they're not very good. So I'm gonna put one of these in my little drink, just sauce it up a little bit, and then I have this pineapple jalapeno. They're all dried. I think you pour actual booze in here, and it makes it taste like jalapenos and pineapple, which is pretty cool. But I just use it as garnishes. Um, and as this, we'll see how this first episode goes, and then I'll start making promises to you guys. But I think that's an orange. Yeah, that's an orange. So we'll do an orange today. An orange, little dried orange slice, and we'll take this big ass pineapple. Big old piece of pineapple. I think there's a like a dried blood orange in here, and that's something that I've been saving. So toss it around in there. Let it the fake bourbon actually tastes like booze. Like it I don't know if that is necessarily a good or bad thing to do when you're trying to be sober, like drinking things that are resemble booze. I don't drink this very often. I just figured that since I'm gonna be sharing a little bit with you guys, I might as well drink the hard shit. But what is a sundowner? I think that, like I said, a universal thing in today's society is just like sitting down and having a drink and watching the sun go down. And I, like my whole life, that was something that like that was the way my family connected. I grew up in a very different family dynamic. Um, it was kind of like a mixture between hippie and like Italian mafia is, is what I like to call it. Like I there's a lot of addiction and alcoholism and drugs and all the good stuff, you know. All the stuff that makes crazy memories and makes people who they are. But I grew up in a family that was kind of like that, but we all tried to sit down and connect with each other like all the time. I think that that's like one thing that I will always cherish with my family is that like we always made time to have a drink together. I moved from California to Florida about 2 years ago, and I think that that's something that is so comforting. Like when you move, like you don't know anybody, you don't have anything, and that can be really scary and isolating to some people. But like moving here and seeing that the culture and the dynamic of like having a drink and watching the sun go down was comforting to me because I moved literally across the country, like no family out here, and it's it is kind of lonely and isolating sometimes. But you know, for me and with my alcohol addiction and just like my addictions in general and my depression, I needed to escape that dynamic and that small town mindset and kind of just see other things. So I think that a sundowner to me is somebody that can work hard all day and sit down and enjoy the sun going down with something and people that mean something to them. So I want to create a space for you guys and for myself, I guess, just to sit and talk and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes because commitment is scary. I think that a lot of people struggle with commitment too. But commitment to alcoholism is something that is a lot easier. Fuck, that's sad and depressing. Let's try this. Let's try this thing. So I have a pineapple, a dried orange, a fake gummy bear, and fake booze. You know, it does resemble like a drink, but it's actually not that bad. Like the pineapple and the orange in it is refreshing, even though it's kind of dried. Like it kind of life ended up a little bit. I took this stuff straight the other day, and it was just like so disgusting. I couldn't even finish like a shot. And I'm somebody that like I used to finish a full half handle by myself. So, and to say that this is strong is kind of funny to me. Like I think I grew up where drinking was so normalized. Like I started drinking and smoking when I was like 8 years old, and that's something that like not I'm not that was not condoned by the family. That was just like something that we would sneak off and do because you know you're kids, you're gonna try and experiment and do different things. Um, but that was something that was just so like normalized. And I don't know. But like I said, for those of you who are new, I am trans. I started my transition when I was 18. And you know, I think that transitioning really changed my outlook on a lot of different things than previously. Even though I was like only 18, like I still lived a lot considering like I started drinking and partying and doing all the things that you do when you're like 16 to 18. I started doing when I was really young and um, it just transitioning and like taking on a different role in society like changed my aspect on like even going out and drinking like you go out as like a female and you present as a female in society like people are going to I guess like take care of you a little bit more. But when you go out as like a male, like you're taking care of yourself and you're taking care of a lot of other people if you're a good representation of what a stereotypical male is like. And for me, like I am very old fashioned. I have a lot of old fashioned mindsets, I guess. I feel like I want to take care of people. I want to take care of my family. I want to take care of the women in my life, and I don't necessarily think that like women should be in the kitchen cooking and cleaning, but I do think that they should be able to embrace any type of femininity that they hold inside them. Like they shouldn't have to fight so hard to have a vulnerable and open space. You know, not everybody's like that, and with like the gender roles being so fluid in today's society, like that's okay that if like you don't have the same mindset. Like I adopted that mindset. I chose that, and that's something that I like work really hard to implement in my day to day. Like I will always take care of my mom. I will always take care of the women in my life. I will always take care of my little brothers and sisters because I am the oldest. I am the man, and I don't think that like transitioning. Like I have always been that role. I've always been that role in my family's life, and I think that like transitioning just solidified that. Um, so, and these gummy bears, man, like I'm not even gonna have one because they're pretty good. Like they're hard and they get stuck in your teeth. I also drink like a lot of seltzer, like carbonated water. Like when I was probably I don't know 18, and it started getting like popular, and everybody was drinking like fucking White Claws and seltzers. It was like so gross to me. But when I stopped drinking, like my sweet tooth and my love for seltzers just like skyrocketed. So if you want to get to my heart, bring me some snacks and some soda water. I went to this restaurant and it was like minimum $100 a person. So every person at the table had to spend $100, and it was in Miami, and it was on this rooftop, and it was like a Korean tea house style, and they served all these drinks. I actually got a couple of drinks, but I didn't actually drink them. I just got them because they looked really cool, and I still had like $30 that I had to spend to get the fuck out of there and get my card. So I got a drink and I got some ice cream. But they had where was I going with this? I don't know what I was going with this. Let me think. Oh, I was like so blown away. They were like, that was like the first time I ever sat down at like a really nice restaurant, and they were like, "Do you want sparkling or stilled?" And I was like, "Bring them both, like bring it round the clock." And it was like the only thing that was free at the restaurant. And I took their giant bottle of, it was like a huge bottle of sparkling water, and I took that bitch home with me because I was like, you know what, I feel loved. I feel like you know what I need. Um, but I think that like as I get older, like sitting down and making time for like making time to watch the sun go down or to watch the sunrise. Like maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe I'm just like, and I don't mean that in any offensive way. Like I mean that as like my own personal growing up. Like I am getting older and I'm getting wiser. I think my beard is turning gray probably, but but as like as I grow up, like I realize that making time for the little things is so much more meaningful to me. Like it never used to be because it was so normalized. Like we would, I'll talk about my grandparents a little bit, I guess. Like they were probably the first hippie sundowners I've ever experienced in my whole life, and they were probably the ones that instilled that mindset in me. Like we had a giant garden. We didn't have a giant house. We had a giant garden. They had a really nice layout, and it was all really open, and I think they have always wanted to be self-sufficient. They had like beautiful plants and a koi garden and a vegetable garden where they grew like their own fruits and vegetables, and they planted like cherry trees and peach trees. I think a lot of it had to do with like the family fundamentals that they have always wanted, and it's beautiful. Like it's something that I have always wanted, but then I like go out and buy a boat and live on a boat. So like, what do I really want? I think isolation is what I really want. Like they grew. basically everything that they eat except for like the meats and things. Because we had farm animals, but we did not use them as they were pets. They were definitely pets. They have always been somebody that like, well, let me make you a drink. Let's sit down and talk about it. Let's like sit down, and we used to listen to music, and I think that's like where my first initial love for like reggae and jazz came from. Like they would always play the most amazing music, and we would just sit there and have a drink and just talk and shoot the shit, dream about the things that we wanted to do. It's something I was obsessed with. I was obsessed with my grandma's gumbo and this one song named Tarantula, but I can't remember it right now. That was like something that I always looked forward to. Was like I knew that I could come to their house, good or bad, and I could sit down and I could have a drink. That was like something that it was always comforting. It was always something that I knew I could lean on if I was having a bad day, because you can't fix everything in a day. And I know that I talk a lot of I talk a lot of inspirational things, but in reality, I don't like actually use them because I learn all of these things after I stress about it for days on end and finally figure it out. But we'll see how this podcast goes. I think that I just wanted to maybe get my voice out there and talk to you guys on a more normal and casual level. Uh, my main goal always, like, I never started any of my platforms thinking like I was gonna have anybody that really actually wanted to listen to me. But the one thing that I did always want to put out there was that, number one, like, trans people are normal people. Like, we are so normal. It's sad that we get treated like we're abnormal, because that's all we want. All we want is to like blend in with society, but really, like, we stick out like a sore thumb sometimes. And I just wanted to like, I think, give a better face to the community, because advocating and standing up for our rights and who we are isn't whining. That, like, we're not looking for attention, we're just looking for acceptance and respect. And I think that that's something that I want to get out there, something that I've always wanted to get out there. And I also wanted to give everybody like a good space to sit down and have a drink. So, cheers. Oh, but I don't know. I want to know what your guys' favorite drink is when you go out and go hang out with your friends or sit down and have a nice meal. Like, what is your go-to drink? Because nowadays mine is soda water and lemon and lime when I go out to like the bars, or I don't actually go out to the bars very much, but when I go down to like Key West and stuff, I'll always get a soda water and a lemon and lime, because it's just like, makes me feel like I'm still a part of the party. Even though I am the party, I am the life of the party. I used to drink, I think, a lot because I felt like my personality didn't show. Like, I needed to, because I'm really out there. And I realize now that I'm out there without the booze. I'm out there without the extras. But when I was younger, it just was something that was like, you have to drink to have a good time. But now that I'm older, I'm like, I just want to go home. I want to just like relax. Yeah, I want to know what your guys' favorite go-to drink is. Shirley Temples are good too. I think that it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard because I live on a tiny little sailboat and I don't have a lot of room already, but I'm going to revamp my mocktail accessories. The kava, if you guys are looking for something that like it says it's for calm and relaxation and mood support and restful sleep. But there's also some other stuff. Um, we'll have some more little tips and tricks for your mocktail game. But right now we're going mild. But I do want to revamp. This is like my cute little go-to, like, I'm sophisticated and having a little drink. But I want some fun stuff. I want some boba. I want some jellies. And maybe some different cups. Get some different cups and some different drinks. I do like that they are starting to have like more non-alcoholic drinks because sometimes I do crave like just a good beer. Like I just want to sit and have a beer. I think Blue Moon was my go-to beer. Like Blue Moon with a fresh orange. And I used to do like grocery delivery, and every time somebody would buy like a case of Blue Moon and they didn't get oranges, I would buy an orange or two. Like even if they didn't, I would buy it out of my own pocket and I would give it to them because if they so most of the time they were like, "Oh, I just forgot it," and other times they'd be like, "I've never had that before," and I'm like, "Dude, if you drink Blue Moon, you have to have an orange slice with it because it just has like I think it has like some type of citrusy flavor and it just like enhances it. So if they have Blue Moon non-alcoholic, I'm definitely gonna grab one of those. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I love you guys, and I hope that this is something that maybe you can find a little comfort in, or I don't know. Maybe my voice is annoying. We'll see. I really do think that this is something that I will try and make an effort to give to you guys if you like it. And even if you don't like it, I'm just gonna be here sitting talking to myself because I can. I think that a lot of the time, like I would sit and make excuses as to like why I couldn't start something, why I couldn't do something. Like even I thought of this yesterday that I would do this podcast for you guys and sit down and have a drink with you guys. And I thought of it yesterday, and then I sat there going back and forth all day. Like I can't start this podcast because I don't have a camera. I don't have a computer. I don't have enough storage. Like I don't have all of these things. I don't have a cool, nice background or enough things to talk about. And I think that that is like a ongoing thing for a lot of people is that they have an idea and then they themselves make the roadblocks as to why they can't do those ideas instead of just working with what you have right now because if you want that nice camera it'll be there in the future. If you want that, like I want a mic, I want a bigger boat, and uh, I just want a lot of things. And you're never gonna get the satisfaction of watching yourself like grow from nothing. So I think that I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it for you guys. And if you hate it, you hate it. If you don't, you don't. But you guys are my Sundowners because we all need a little bit of love, a little space to be ourselves and grow. So I want to know your favorite drink and what your goals are. What is something that you've been wanting to do that you feel like you can't? Because right now, this is it for me. Is making this podcast for you guys because sometimes I feel like I don't have enough to talk about, or is what I'm saying really going to be heard by anybody? Not that it really matters. I'm not doing this out of I get a lot of comments of people saying that I just do a bunch of things for money and like I just post and comment for the views and it's like I started all of my channels and all of the things that I do now with no intention of anybody ever seeing it. And the minute somebody saw it, I was like so embarrassed. Like I was so scared of what all of these people were going to say about me because I lost I was okay, so I was a big alcoholic. And then I made a change in 20 at the end of 2020. I was like 220 pounds and I'm not very big. I'm not going to tell you how big I am, but for 220 pounds it did not fit well on my body. Like I was severely overweight for my body size and my body type and I just wasn't healthy. Like I said, I was slamming back a handle every day, like every day. And I'm not exaggerating on that. Like I would buy those New Amsterdam bottles and I would finish it in a day. That's like $10 a day on just booze, and not to mention all the snacks and bullshit that I would probably snack on with that. So at the end of 2020, like I was at a point where I was just like mentally drained. Like I probably was gonna do something really stupid if I continued to go down that path, and making the change to be like I'm not drinking anymore and being surrounded by a bunch of people that did drink. Like it was so hard to make that conscious decision that like I know that I cannot drink anymore. But I lost a lot of friends and I separated myself from a lot of people because I was just like I can't do this anymore. I cannot physically like I did not have enough willpower inside myself to do that for myself. So I separated myself. But I made a conscious effort to start eating better and working out and not drinking. And I'm not going to say that I haven't had a couple of slip ups from the last 4 years because I definitely have. And I definitely believed for a minute that like I could have a drink now and then without being blacked out and belligerent. But like I think that I've really messed up the frontal my frontal cortex because like I'll have probably like two drinks now and I could black out. And it's not because I'm drunk, it's just because like I really messed something up in there. But I started losing a lot of weight, and I think that like I didn't post on any social media platforms for probably the majority of my adult life because I was overweight and insecure. And the minute that I started like posting on social media, like I was just so scared of what people were gonna say about me and what people are gonna think about me, and like if what I was saying was dumb. Even if it doesn't matter, like everybody has those insecurities that like is what I'm doing going to be perceived the right way. But I think it's important to get your point of view out there because some people may not have that point of view. Like I didn't have the same mindset that I do now that I did when I first started transitioning, and I think that that's something that I want to express is that like transitioning is going to change your whole perspective on life and your like concepts and ideas of how you want to live your life. It's a really cool journey and it's a really eye-opening experience to share like your growth and your where you have come from to where you are now, because I wish that I would have like recorded myself in the beginning because it would be so cool to see how much I've grown. But it wasn't mentally like it wasn't mentally good for me, so I just didn't do it because I was not secure in myself enough to do it. But I think that if you have goals and plans and you're working towards things that you actually want to do, like document your progress and don't be afraid of doing things that may seem dumb in the moment. Like what I'm sitting here doing right now. There's a bunch of people driving by and walking by and they're looking at me like, dude, what are you doing? Or like being on a dinky little sailboat and people are like mega yachts. That's what I want. I just want a mega yacht. I want a catamaran. I want to be on the water and I want to sail the world. And you know what? Mark my words, that's something that I'll do because I've lived like my whole life like living for other people and like taking care of other people and making sure that everybody else was good. And I think the minute that I moved, like I stopped worrying about everybody. Not like being self-centered and selfish, but just like thinking about what I really wanted to do with my life because I'm not getting any younger. I'm 25 and I'm not old, but I grew up with a lot of people that like I grew up raising my parents basically. Like they everybody in my life has always had a bad addiction or like I was the first kid, so I taught my parents how to be parents, basically. What was I going? uh, I grew up, I think, just not putting myself first because I was too busy worried about if everybody else was going to get what they wanted. And I grew up with people that didn't start their life because they were so hung up on addiction that they didn't start their life till they were 32 or they were 35. And that's not like your time is always different. Everybody's time is different. I just want to do more while I have the ability to do more. You know what I mean? And I think that like moving was something that symbolized that for me because like my family, my grandpa and my dad moved around a lot, but my mom and my grandma and like the minute that I was born, like we never moved. Like we moved in the town. Like I went to every single elementary school in my small town that I had, almost every elementary school, but and I knew everybody. And I think that like moving was just like so symbolic for me and maybe like my whole family that like it's time to do what you want to do, you know? And I think that, God, I don't know. I just, there's so much that I want to do, and there's so many places that I want to be at already before I'm 35 and have kids. And, you know, like, not that there's anything wrong with having kids and buying a house and settling down because everybody's path is different. I just have a specific idea on where I want my life to be, you know? So, what are your goals? Where do you want to be? It's so different to live on a boat, I think. And it's something that I wouldn't change for like anything. It's small and you definitely have to downgrade. Like, I literally moved everything that I've ever owned in that freaking car right there. And that's it. Like, and I've never had a lot. I think that like I'm a Sundowner backpack boy with uh, raging sunburn. It's like if you had to describe me in a couple of words, that's probably it. I've lived out of a backpack my whole life, and I'm okay with that. And a lot of people can't do that. You know, a lot of people can't live with that discomfort or um, that minimalistic, and especially like having kids. I'm sure that it's really hard to be minimalistic because kids do require a lot. And I think that one of the things that I say quite often is that like I was meant to be trans because if I wasn't, I would have the biggest family you've ever seen. And not just because I'm a horn dog, but because I want such a big family. And maybe I'll never get that. Maybe I'll never have that, but it was a blessing to be to be trans. And if anybody has ever tried to make you feel like you weren't meant to be exactly who you are, like they're wrong. Your life is exactly where it's supposed to be, and you're exactly who you're meant to be, and you're gonna grow and have all of the opportunities that like you are meant to have. There are so many paths you could go down, but if you put yourself in the position to accept gifts that are from the universe, but also gifts that you're wanting to get from the universe, if that makes sense. Like, I wanted to live and be on a boat so bad, and I moved to basically a one-way island surrounded by water and boats. And I like researched day in and day out what I needed in a boat, what I wanted in a boat, what I was looking for, what I could afford, how to get it, and I opened up a lot of doors to have that experience. People call that like manifestation. I just think that like it is manifestation. You're manifesting bigger and better opportunities in the direction that you're going, but you're also doing the work to get there because you can not like sit on your couch and expect to get like uh acting gig but never act, or like the job of your dreams but never apply, you know? I don't know. Maybe this podcast is just going to be me rambling on and on and on about things that maybe matter to you and maybe don't, but at least you got a nice drink with you. And you know what? This pineapple like almost looks like just oh, it like rehydrated itself. It's pretty cool. And you know, maybe I'll eat it, but I'm definitely not drinking this today. I will definitely up my mocktail game because I got some game and don't it will not be put past. But cheers, Sundowners, and I hope that you had a beautiful week. I hope that you continue to come back and make memories with me and leave some stuff in the comments because I really do care about you guys. I love you guys. And you know, everything I do, I want a family. I want a big family. So if you want to be a part of it, catch me here and we could be Sundowners together. Does that sound like a plan? I think it does. I love you guys. I hope that you have a beautiful day and I will talk to you later.